guys, it's me again, Little Pinay Explorer, and in this video, I will show you my 7-day summer itinerary in Switzerland. I did solo travel by the way, but I still got some pretty decent photos and basically survived the whole trip all on my own. And I will tell you everything from my itinerary, activities, budget, food, accommodation, and other helpful tips. Anyway, I am including timestamps in the description below, so if you are only interested with one place or a certain information, you can just skip right into it. For my day 1, I decided to visit Rhine Falls, the most powerful waterfall in Europe. Going there from Zurich is pretty easy and accessible. It was just less than an hour direct train, and just a few steps from the train station, you can already see the waterfalls. There are different viewpoints that you can try. There's one going up using the glass elevator, and there's one going near the waterfalls. I decided to take the 15-minute blue boat ride and paid 8 Swiss francs. I was actually a little bit scared with the boat nearing the waterfalls because we were not wearing life jackets and I don't really know how to swim, but I just have to trust the process. The view from the other side is better, and there's also a restaurant by the river where I enjoyed a cup of coffee. I also enjoyed watching these many fishes looking so healthy and happy. Anyway, a little bit of a walk going up is this nice and refreshing view too. Overall, going to Rhine Falls was worth it, and I recommend you give it a visit if you are in Zurich. My day 2 was supposed to be going to Mount Rigi. It's a mountain excursion that is free with a Swiss travel pass and is accessible from Lucerne. But the weather was not very nice, so I just decided to chill and walked around Lucerne and started my way to Lauterbrunnen, where I will be staying in the next 4 days. I just left my luggage in my accommodation and then went back to Interlaken and visited Harder Kulm, the top of Interlaken. The funicular going up is just a short walk from Interlaken train station, and a return trip cost 40 Swiss francs, but you pay 50% off if you have Swiss travel pass. The view here is overlooking the beautiful turquoise water of Lake Brienz at the left side and blue water of Lake Thun at the right side. A lot of people were taking photos in the viewpoint, and there was even a queue. There's also a restaurant where you can have your lunch or dinner and enjoy the view at the same time. I looked at the menu and it wasn't super expensive. I was actually thinking of dining here, but I was not hungry, so maybe next time. Day 3 is when I got settled in Lauterbrunnen, and for the first day here, I decided to visit Schilthorn, a mountain excursion near Lauterbrunnen. To go there, you can get a bus going to Steckelberg from Lauterbrunnen train station, and then from Steckelberg, you can start riding the cable car going up. The return ticket costs 108 Swiss francs, but with my travel pass, I only paid 43 Swiss francs. Going up includes taking 4 cable cars in total from Steckelberg to Gimmelwald, then to Muren, then to Berg, and finally to the summit, which is Schilthorn. I'd like to call it the James Bond excursion since it's one of the filming locations of the 1969 James Bond film On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It is also one of the highest peaks in the Jungfrau region, and it is one of the best places to go for panoramic views of the Swiss Alps. It was a cloudy day that day, so the view was mostly clouds, but on a good and sunny weather, the view here is amazing. I was hungry and I didn't have my breakfast yet, so it was just a perfect time for me to dine in Peace Gloria, a revolving restaurant in Schilthorn. They offer a brunch buffet for a flat rate of 37 Swiss francs from morning until 2 p.m. It was just 10 a.m. when I got there, and it was a weekday, so I was still able to get a table by the window even if I didn't have a reservation. If you want to dine here and you are arriving a little late or on a weekend, it's better to call them to reserve a table. After breakfast, I went to the viewing deck and took some photos with James Bond, then went down to Berg, which is 1 cable car down, and tried the Berg Thrill Walk, something that might not be suitable for those who have fear of heights. Again, it was just all clouds, so it wasn't as thrilling as I hoped it would be. Some parts were closed too due to renovations, so I just continued going down to Muren and did a little bit of sightseeing. Muren is a cute and cozy village with several restaurants and hotels. If ever I come back in Switzerland, I'd love to stay here for a few days. I can imagine how wonderful it would be to be waking up in this refreshing cozy village, breathing fresh air, and admiring the nice view while sipping my coffee in the morning. Muren is also a popular hiking spot, so if you like hiking, you might want to look further into it, and they also have a paragliding spot here. So for reservations, you may call that number. While waiting for the bus going home, I decided to have a little peek of the small wooden bridge just behind the parking lot. It has a nice view of the Murenbach Falls and the gushing river of Lauterbrunnen. This is a typical scenery here in Lauterbrunnen, and I'm glad that I stayed here the longest during this trip. Day 4 was my Lake Oeschinen day, and this was the day that I was really looking forward to. From my accommodation, I had to travel 1 hour and 30 minutes going to Kandersteg, which is the nearest train station for the cable car. It was around 15 to 20 minutes walk from the train station, and it wasn't very easy to find at first since it was not showing in Google Maps. But I just asked a few people and tried to follow some street signs and eventually found it. The return ticket for the cable car is 30 Swiss francs, but again with my travel pass, I only paid 15. At the top of the cable car, there is a toboggan run you can ride for only 6 Swiss francs. Just be aware that other people have the tendency to not follow or even read the rules and not use the brake feature as needed. It's either I was too slow or they were too fast that we ended up having a little collision up there. It wasn't just me, it was a lot of other people as well who had the same experience. But it was worth it and the view was good as well. There are also some lockers you can use for free for 1 hour and it's so easy to use. All you need is a contactless card. You just need to tap it to close and use the same card to open it. Lake Oeschinen is a paradise on earth. The beautiful lake, the view of the mountains, the nature, fresh air, the cows with a fringe, and everything here is so serene. No wonder it is one of the UNESCO World Natural Heritage sites. I settled under a tree near the lake and sat there for hours, just watching the nice view and the people. I was just feeling so happy and grateful that I was finally able to visit this place. I could stay here all day to just breathe and not really do anything. They have a few restaurants on site, but you can also bring your own food and even cook it there using the available grilling spots. Some activities here include swimming in the lake and hiring a small rowing boat. And also, if you like hiking, you can also do that here and it will take like 4 hours, I believe. It looks really high and difficult. So if you're planning to do that, make sure you're ready with everything that you need and a good hiking shoes. My day 5 was a Saturday and I didn't have anything planned because it's a weekend, which means it will be more crowded than usual. But I just decided to have a little tour in Lauterbrunnen. I visited the waterfalls near the train stations, Tobak Falls. And my favorite part of the day here was when I used this swing. It was just very relaxing to lie there while looking at the nice view of the waterfalls and hearing the sound of it. It's super amazing feeling. After several minutes, I started heading to Interlaken to find some things to do and I just landed in St. Beata's Caves. It's just one bus ride away from Interlaken and you have an option to go inside the cave for 19 Swiss francs to see the cave itself with the stalagmites and other cave stuff. But I didn't do that anymore since I wasn't very interested. I went back to Interlaken and took a train going to Brienz so I can take the Brienz Rotorbahn, an old steam train that has been operating for 128 years and passes through the beautiful scenery of the Swiss mountains and Lake Brienz. But it was already full when I arrived and the next available trip that I can book was 2 hours from that time. I didn't really want to wait that long, so I just decided to take the boat trip from Brienz to Itinerary. While on the boat, I noticed this interesting place called Geisbach Falls. It's one of the stops of the boat, so you have an option to get off here, do a little tour, and wait for the next boat to arrive. It looks nice when I looked it up online and I regret not visiting the place when I had the chance. There's nothing much to do in Itinerary really, but it's one of the filming locations of the popular Korean drama Crash Landing on You, so a lot of fans come here to take a photo of this popular spot. I didn't do that anymore since it was hot and I had my photo taken here before during winter. Then from Itinerary, I took another boat going to Interlaken. You can also take the bus since the boats sometimes take a long time to arrive. Overall, it was a good boat ride, not only because it was free with my Swiss travel pass, but the view was really good too. And personally, I really love riding boats. It feels so relaxing to me. Before going back to my accommodation, I did a little side trip to Grindelwald, one of the famous mountain villages in the Jungfrau region. There was a band playing and I pretty much enjoyed their music.
See you smile, that's my goal. Never know we're happy alone.
My day 6 was just leaving Lauterbrunnen and traveling to Geneva. It was a total of 4 hours travel time with connecting trains from Lauterbrunnen to Interlaken to Bern and finally to Geneva. Geneva feels like a completely different country. It was more warm and populated. I felt like I wasn't in Switzerland anymore. I tried riding their yellow boats, which is also free with the Swiss travel pass. It was a good way for me to look around and think of what else I could do with the remaining time I have. I finally decided to join the crowd here in Forêt de ski. I paid 2 Swiss francs for the entrance fee. I was alone, but I did enjoy immersing myself into the water of Geneva Lake after a very hot afternoon. But I'm not gonna lie, this was also the time where I wish I wasn't alone and had someone with me to enjoy swimming in the lake together with maybe some floaters so I could chill a bit more. Anyway, I didn't feel itchy at all, so therefore I conclude the lake here is clean. My accommodation was also near this place, so I just walked and didn't really have to fully change my wet clothes. Day 7 was my last day in Switzerland, and I already planned this day to go to France, specifically Annecy or Annecy, a cozy French village near Geneva. It just took me 1 hour and 30 minutes travel from Geneva via a direct train and using a Lemon Pass or Lehman Pass that I bought in the SBB app for 39 Swiss francs. I enjoyed walking in their old town with cobbled streets and canals and generally a beautiful scenery. I also took some time to relax under a tree by the lake and even took a nap there. My favorite part was this boat ride around the lake. I paid 12 euros and it was worth it. I liked the view. It was hot though, but it was okay. I was wearing my hat and my sunblock. I just love boat rides in general. Then the rest of the day was just going back to Geneva and flying back to London in the evening. And now I am back here in London. Oh my god, Switzerland is so beautiful. It's my favorite country and I would like to go back there every time. It's just so expensive. But anyway, I just want to tell you more information about my travel, accommodation, budget. How did I manage traveling alone? How did I take the photos, the food, and just basically everything. This is a budget travel. And also the story about my canceled flight going to Zurich from London. It was canceled and how I managed. I'm gonna tell you the story later, but for now let me tell you about my accommodation. All of my accommodation, by the way, these are all like the cheapest option with acceptable reviews from booking.com. So first, I was supposed to stay 1 night in Zurich, but because my flight got cancelled, I ended up spending a night in Gatwick Airport. My first accommodation was in Lucerne. It's called Lucerne Capsule Hotel. I like this capsule hotel. It was not too far from the main train station. There was privacy. It was also self check-in and check-out. That was 61 Swiss francs per night. And then after Lucerne, I went to Lauterbrunnen. I stayed 4 nights in Hotel Schutzenbach. It has a good view of one of the waterfalls in Lauterbrunnen. And the good thing about hostel is you can cook. So I was able to cook my food here. I didn't have to eat somewhere else. It was 165 Swiss francs, but that was good for 4 nights already. And that was one of the cheapest that I can find. The only thing that I didn't like is they didn't have a lift. I had to carry my luggage 3 floors up, but I managed. Also, didn't have a lot of privacy, but that's hostel and that's what you pay for because it's cheaper. So it doesn't really bother me that much. And also the shower, it was cold water, and if you want to use the hot water, you have to pay 1 Swiss francs for like 8 minutes shower. But these are like small things in general. It was a good stay, but if given the chance and if I had a bit more budget, I would stay in Interlaken. Like it's easier to go around different parts of Switzerland because it's like the connecting area. But Lauterbrunnen is not too far. It's just 30 minutes away from Interlaken. And then the third one was in Geneva. I stayed 1 night in Geneva hostel. It's a good accommodation as well. It's like a dormitory kind of hostel. They had free breakfast. They have a good location. I like using their lockers. It was just tap and tap. I paid 44 Swiss francs for 1 night. Most of the time I use Google Maps, but you can also use the SBB app is where you can pay for train tickets. You can also look for directions, what platform to go to, and it's more accurate. It will show any delays of the train or which coach that is less crowded, so you can go to that sector. And also one important thing, some platforms are really big and long. Ouch! So in the SBB app, it will show you what sector, because it could be from sector A to, let's say, J, and the train will only stop in sector A to E. And you have to make sure that you are in that platform. So yeah. A lot of these excursions, cable cars, funicular rides, they have this machine outside where you can pay for it using a tap machine. I just tap using Apple Pay. You can also book it online or go to the office where there's like an actual person who can give you the ticket. I would always book it before doing the actual excursion or activity. It doesn't matter if you book it in advance or you book it now, it wouldn't change the price. They will have this flat rate and every season. So paying for the things there, like buying food, you can always use your card. All of the tills or cashier are contactless ready. Some of the lockers, especially in more countryside, you will need coins. So I think it's good to have a little bit of coins. The travel pass, by the way, this includes all the public transportation in Switzerland. So buses, trains, boat rides, even in Geneva, the yellow boat rides, that's also included, but not the excursions like going up the mountain where you need to ride cable cars or funiculars. Those are not included. The good thing is if you have Swiss travel pass, it's 50% off, and also you have free entry to a lot of museums in Switzerland. I'm not a fan of museums, so there was nothing like that in my vlog, but if you like museums, then you can take advantage of that if you have the Swiss travel pass. So you will not be able to use this to go to Annecy, which is the part of France already. Instead, you have to get the Lemon Day Pass or just book a one-way advance ticket going to Annecy. Or there is a bus as well going there. But this Lemon Day Pass, it's already good for the whole day. It's unlimited as long as you are within the Lemon area and also Geneva. My accommodation, it was a total of 272 Swiss francs. That was already good for 6 nights. Train tickets, I paid 398 Swiss francs in total. And for the activities, I paid a total of 103 Swiss francs. For the food, 136.9 Swiss francs. These are all my groceries. And miscellaneous, souvenirs, chocolates, it was 147.5 Swiss francs. So, all in all, without the flights, it was 1,059 Swiss francs or 937 pounds or 66,000 pesos. Switzerland in general is really expensive, so this is the cheapest that I could do. Part of my budget as well is the food, so I made sure not to eat in restaurants. I cooked food in my hostel. I made egg sandwich and brought it with me. It fed me for 3 days. I was almost getting tired of it, and even though I wasn't like eating in restaurants, I was still trying to buy the food that is popular in the area, such as the KG, Fret chocolate, the chips as well. I tried a lot of Ovomaltine stuff, things like that. Another thing, I brought my water bottle with me and I just keep on refilling my water in their water fountains. It's all safe. I've used it the entire time that I was there. I was just always drinking from the fountain. I didn't go to top of Europe. I haven't been there yet, and I know it's very popular and I know how amazing it is, but it's just too expensive for me. And when I did my research, they would always compare it to Schilthorn. So instead, I went to Schilthorn, which is like 50% lesser than the cost of going to the top of Europe. Always make sure to bring your passport. There was one time that policemen going around inside the trains asking for the passport because I think that train is going to Italy in the next few stops. So thank God I brought my passport with me. If you're going there in the summer, make sure to bring like swimwear just in case there's an opportunity for you to dive into the lake. There were a lot of people just doing it, even though it's just beside a park or somewhere. If there's water, they would just swim in there. Hopefully next time I could do it in Lake Brienz. The turquoise water of Lake Brienz, I would like to try it. And maybe I could bring my floaters with me so that I could just chill and be like, something like that. And if you are curious how I got my photos taken, I was actually using a tripod. Of course, I didn't ask someone to take a photo of me because I am shy sometimes. It is a bit heavy and it's big, and I think I overuse it that some of the screws have fallen off already, and I would not bring this anymore in my next trip. But I have a smaller one. I forgot to bring my remote, so I was using the timer on my phone, 3 seconds or 10 seconds, and I think it worked out well. I think I managed to have some decent photos videos using my tripod, although it's a bit of a work. It could be awkward as well, especially if there are other people looking at you, but it's just a mindset thing. Like, these people, you will not see them again in the future. Why care what they think? You're not doing anything wrong, you're not hurting someone, and it could be awkward for a lot of people doing it. I did solo travel quite a lot of times already, and I think it's more of a getting used to it as well. Before, I'm so awkward of eating in restaurants, I just couldn't do it, but now I can just confidently say table for one. No matter how sad you think it is, it's actually not sad if you are comfortable in your own company. Sometimes you have to be complete on your own. My cancelled flight with EasyJet. It was a flight that was scheduled for 6 p.m. It just kept on getting delayed until 2 hours after we were boarding already. And then suddenly they announced that the flight is cancelled. And I don't know what the reason, because the microphone was not working. I just didn't dig deeper into it because it wouldn't change the fact that the flight was cancelled. There was an option to rebook it. You can do it with another carrier. They will reimburse me. That's what they said. I was hesitant actually. I was like, really? You're gonna refund me? And with EasyJet, they didn't have any trips the next day going to Zurich. There was one in British Airways, but I couldn't book it yet because I was still waiting for my luggage. I waited 3 hours for my luggage to come back to me. They had a lot of canceled flights that day, and there were like a lot of backlogs with the baggage area, and that's why I had to wait 3 hours. So it was 11 p.m. when I finally got my luggage. That's the time that I booked the flight. So I got this British Airways a 7 a.m. flight from London City Airport, and I was in Gatwick at that time. It was already 11 p.m. I was thinking, should I go home and then go to London City Airport tomorrow? I had to be practical, so I slept in the cold floor of Gatwick Airport. At 4 a.m. I woke up and started heading to London City Airport. I was able to get a 4 a.m. train going to the central part of London, and then I just did Uber. So I managed to go there on time. The next day, I was feeling so dirty, so haggard. Thankfully, they have a shower room in Zurich Airport that you can pay for 20 Swiss francs, free use of hair dryers. So that was good. I was able to freshen up and I was able to continue my day. I even thought that I wouldn't be able to go to Rhine Falls because there were just a lot of unfortunate events, because when I arrived, I couldn't book the Swiss travel pass online. I had to find an SBB office, and that's why I have this one, and it's actually nice to keep the memories alive. Before, when I went there, it was just online. There was just a QR code on my email. And then after that, I managed to go to Zurich main station from the airport, but I just couldn't find a locker to leave my luggage. The Zurich main station, they have a lot of lockers there, but it was all full because it's summer. A lot of people are traveling there. It was 11 a.m. People already came before me and left their luggage already. I just sat near the locker area, waited for someone to collect their luggages, and finally at 12 noon I managed to find a locker and I left there, and then I went to Rhine Falls, and the rest was how it went with my itinerary at the first part of this vlog. After a few days, I sent a claim online with EasyJet about my flight, so they actually refunded me the flight that I booked and also my Uber ride. They gave me back my money 15 days after. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the vlog. I hope you enjoyed watching my vlog, and I will try to do more solo travel. I'm going to Greece solo travel as well this September, so wish me luck, guys. I hope you will subscribe to my channel. I am Little Pinay Explorer again. I love exploring not just countries but also a lot of different things, and I will see you on the next vlog. Bye. I want to say something to make this video funny.